Hello and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Alfonso Peluso, and I'm an associate teaching professor in the College of Architecture at IIT, the home of the legendary Mies van der Rohe, and I'm adjunct faculty at Columbia College Chicago in the Interior Architecture program. Shout out to all my students. I hope you're having a great day. It's a warm winter day here in Chicago, and the spring semester is underway. I hope it's going great for you guys. All right, today we're going to look at Lumion effects, and I call it the effects stack. So, Lumion effects stack. And what do we have here? This is an image that we're going to end up with. No Photoshop done to this image. And I do recommend that you go into Photoshop, and I have a video about my Photoshop workflow secrets. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check it out. But what we have here is one image with the effects applied, and then this is with some depth of field, which may be a little strong in this image, but the depth of field is focusing on the building. So you'll notice the building stays in focus. And then this is the images with the image without any effect. So big difference from there to there. This one is just kind of plain, oversaturated, not much visual mood or interest to it. All right, so before we get into today's tutorial, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Search me up on YouTube, Alfonso Peluso. Click on the subscribe button. Click on the down arrow to receive all the notifications. If you are an architecture student, interior architecture student, an architect, an interior architect, computational designer, digital designer, there is something for you on my channel. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the videos. Help me get to 14,000 subscribers. I think that will be a great milestone. Also, follow me on Instagram at my first name underscore my last name Peluso. See what AI images and movies I've been making. See what my students are producing. All right, love to connect with you on Instagram. All right, let's jump into this. So, Lumion Effect Stack. All right, so over in Lumion, we have our file here, and I'm in the photo mode, and we're going to look at the effect stack. So, what's great about this, if you click on these three dots, you can copy the effect list, you can paste it, you can load it. So copy and paste it would be to copy it into one of the other camera views. And then you can load it from a file, and you can save it, and then you can clear the effects list. So what I like to start out with is I like to start out with the real sky and then the sun overlaid on that. So we're going to go ahead and click on the plus for effects, and we're just under the featured category, and we're going to click on real skies. We're going to get our real skies in, and I'm going to change that real sky. I'm going to go ahead and pick just a clear one, and I'll pick one where the sun is a little bit higher in the sky. So I'm going to pick the second one here. All right, so I can change the heading, and I'm going to make the sun in the upper right. One of my wants in future versions of Lumion is to be able to lower that image. Lower that image down a little bit would be great, but I'm going to put that in the upper right. And the heading, so that heading, that heading is about, let's get that back. So about 89. So I'm going to just put in 89 because I can match my sun's heading to this. So 89. And then I'm going to leave the sky brightness, background brightness, and sun intensity. Of course, you can change those around. So I'm going to go back to the effects list, and we can see the effects of this. This is how it was, and this is how it is being lit by the real sky. So let's go ahead and add in a sun. And we're going to change that sun heading to match, what was that? Now I forgot already. I think it was 89. Okay, and then we have intensity, we have sun height. So we can raise and lower the sun height. All right, 89. Okay, and I just want to double check this. So real sky heading, 89, perfect. Sun heading, 89. All right, so we have our sun and our sky together, and it's important that the sun is on top of the real sky for those to work. Now I want to give the shadows more um, contrast, more depth, more, let's say, stronger shadows. How's that? We want stronger shadows. So we're gonna get our shadows, which is it's also under the featured, so shadow. And if I click on the preview just to kind of see what's happening here, it's probably a little hard to see. Let's change this interior exterior. So since we're working on an exterior image, let's increase the omni shadow. So it gives a little more contrast to it. And let's turn on soft shadows, and let's turn on that you really see the fine detailed shadows. You really see that when you click that on. So now we're getting some stronger shadows in the front. And there's a lot of things that we can change here. There's coloring. There's the sun shadow range. So having that a little higher, I think, helps. There's a brightness of the shadows. There's shadow correction. And then there's normal, sharp, and ultra sharp. Yeah, it's just about a matter of, can the computer handle it? So we'll go with ultra sharp and see what we get there. All right, so let's go back to our stack, and let's turn off the shadow, and let's turn on the shadow. So you see that. You get a lot more contrast, and you want contrast in your images. All right, let's add some fog into this. So fog is going to be under sky weather, and we'll choose fog. And let's get the density kind of high so we can see what's happening there. Okay, so we see it. It's starting from the horizon line. And we got some fall off here. All right, Rita. Hi, Rita. My dog has decided to join us. Hello, Rita. All right. So that's the color of the fog, fog brightness, fog density. Maybe something like that looks pretty good. The fall off is a little hard to adjust. I think it looks pretty good right there. So let's see what that looks like. So we'll turn fog on and off. All right, so definitely starting to get some drama, adding some drama into our scene. Now, one thing I didn't talk about is 2-point perspective. Now, sometimes this camera is already set up for a 2-point perspective, and the way you know is that the camera and the target are at the same height, so the building's not leaning. There's not a 3rd-point perspective. It's not leaning back. So we can go to architectural, and we can choose 2-point perspective. And if I was to change let's change the pitch. So I'm looking up, and I'm starting to get that 3-point perspective there. Okay, so you can see that changing there. The walls were tilting without it. See the walls tilting there, and with it, they're not tilting. Let's go back to our photo. Okay, so that forces the 2-point perspective. All right, reflection, that's a big one. So let's go get our reflection. Okay, so we're going to turn on the speed ray, and we need to activate our reflection planes. And it warns you that this is going to take up a lot of memory. So, but we're just going to put it on the front glass there. And then so I'm just clicking on the plus to add it, and we're going to click it on the ground plane. So those 2 reflection planes. Okay. And let's go back to our stack. So you can see it's just, the reflections were there, but what it's reflecting when you choose the reflection effect, it's more accurate. It makes the reflections more accurate. All right, what's next? Let's get some God rays. The God rays are under lighting. All right, so let's increase the intensity on this. Now, this definitely has a lot to do with the position of the sun. Okay, so to make the God rays work, you have to have the sun showing in the image. So we have some adjustments that we have to make here for sure. So let's go back. Let's put the intensity way up so that we will know when it's working. We hope so. Let's click in the preview window to update that. All right, so let's go to the sun. All right, so you see that when I'm moving the sun heading and I'm rotating that around, we're getting the God rays. So that's at, let's say this is at -60. And we'll go back to our real skies. And we'll also make that heading at -60. Okay, so those are lining up. All right, so we gotta take it easy with the God rays here. All right, so now lens flare is something I like too, but I realize that it only works with the with night scenes. Length is, let's see, when we pull the intensity up, let's see what length does for us. So yeah, it just makes them longer. So we're gonna take this. What's our decay look like? The fall off? Yeah, so a little bit less from its origin. Okay, and then something that's really important is the color. The color of the images, it's a little bit too saturated right now. So we can do color corrections right here inside of Lumion. And that's going to be under featured in the upper left. So lots to do here. Lots you can do here. You have exposure, which is something that, if your image is a little too dark, you can add some exposure. You can pump up the contrast. I'm really here right now for the saturation. I want to desaturate this image. Yeah, right there. Images with too much saturation start to look, just not intriguing and not interesting, and they look a little bit too fake. So I like taking some saturation out of it. But you should definitely explore some of these here. You can spend a lot of time in the color correction. So I think the last thing is really whether or not we want a depth of field. And we can experiment with that a little bit. And I think depth of field really works well for animation and where you can animate the depth of field. It works a little bit better for animation than the still images. And let's click on the depth of field. All right, so the first thing we'll do is we'll crank it up. So we'll crank up the amount so we can see that the whole image is blurry there. And we have this foreground background that we can make adjustments on. And this is like what area is actually being blurred. So that's what the depth of field does, is it blurs part of it. Let's get it to focus on the building. So maybe like right there, and let's change the sharp area size. Still not exactly what I'm looking for here. It's a little bit of the focal distance in the foreground background. So here you see the foreground's really blurry. There you see the background, foreground and background is looking for the building to be in focus, and the building looks to be in focus there. So that's a little bit of blur, a little bit of depth of field. So that's the resulting image, and that's pretty good, having if we were to go back to our effects list. Oh, I actually need to click on the three dots and then say clear effects list. Okay, now it just goes back to the boring image, the boring Lumion image. And I had saved that before, so now I can just load it back in. So you can save these effects that you really like and then load them into your other projects, which I think is really great. All right, that's all I wanted to cover with Lumion. If you like this video, let me know in the comments that you liked it. This is the original. There we go. Let me know why you liked it in the comments. Let YouTube's algorithm know that you liked it and you're commenting on it, so it can reach more people. All right, my head's going to pop up in the upper left. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click on that and subscribe. And I'm going to put some videos in the upper right and the lower right. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.